Violence is escalating across the country. 7 people have been shot dead in Philippi East in Cape Town, suspected to be linked to the ongoing taxi violence. The Western Cape government is now moving to extend taxi route closures. And in a separate incident, EMS teams were attacked and their fire engine stoned in Soweto. Well, to further unpack this, let's extend a very warm welcome to crime expert Mr. Willem Els. Mr. Els, it's always a pleasure, sir. Happy Sunday. So more deadly reports. Another brutal weekend. 7 men killed in Philippi East in what police in the Western Cape are suspecting it's taxi-related violence. So this is shortly after that the routes that were closed for a month were declared open just on that particular day. What are some of the deeper issues here when we're dealing with taxi-related violence, Willem?
Good afternoon to you. Yeah, I think, the rule of law is coming under threat in the country, but more so on the Cape Flats, especially with the gang violence, and also now that we see the taxi violence over there. And it is time now for leadership to actually stand up and to come forward with a holistic plan, because the country has been suffering a lot, and we have to take back the streets from these criminals. Otherwise, if we leave it until too late, we're going to have to play catch up, and we're not going to do so.
Oh, absolutely, Willem. I mean, in the light of the current wave around the PKTT, as well as the public now being privy to what some of the covert operations actually entailed, taxi-related violence has been quite a thorn in the sector for decades now. Fights over routes, rival associations, and now couple that with the influx of e-hailing services. The industry surely needs a specialized taxi violence task team, a TVTT, to bring this all to an end.
Exactly. For many years now, the taxis, it's almost like the tail wagging the dog. They have been always been very dominant. There were always criminal elements within them. We don't say all of them are criminal, but we see that they've been hijacked by these criminal elements. And we see that whenever there's a challenge, whenever there's a dispute about their routes, etc., they resort to violence, they resort to extortion, they resort to intimidation of the people. And we cannot afford that. That cannot be afforded in a democracy, and it can also not be allowed in a country where the rule of law is ultimate.
But Willem, let's look elsewhere in the country. The shocking crime rates are escalating. EMS teams were reportedly attacked here in Soweto, and over 900 suspects were arrested in Gauteng during Operation Shanela. What exactly is exacerbating these crime levels right across the country, you think? Are thieves so brazen, criminals as well, that they have no regard for the police or the law at all?
Yeah, as you mentioned, we are in a phase now where the spotlight is on the minister and on the police, law and order, because of what is going on in the different commissions. And, and that is just an indication that we have created an environment of impunity for these criminals by actually compromising the state-embedded actors. And so corruption has really, at the end of the day, afforded them to create an environment of impunity, but also an environment where they do not have fear for the police. And on the other hand, we see that the police, those who are not corrupted, and we know there are a lot of them, they are fighting an uphill battle with their corrupt officials and their corrupt colleagues, actually facilitating for these people. And that is something that needs to be addressed as a matter of great urgency by the acting minister. We know that he's rolled out a holistic plan on a strategy in the Western Cape. We should see how we can roll that out for the rest of the country, because the time is running out for us.
And it was actually quite concerning to hear of the testimonies of some of the senior managers of SABC, Willem, testifying either at the ad hoc committee or specifically at the ad hoc committee, where they were asked if the problem within SABC can still be maintained and managed. And they all agreed that with a few right moves here and there, it can actually be achieved. But it doesn't seem like that is the story. It seems like we are far long gone in terms of addressing the corruption within the SABC itself. You just saw a clip preceding our interview there. The citizens are fed up. They're saying police don't show up on time when they are called. They also don't feel protected. So citizens have completely lost faith within the people that are supposed to be protecting and enforcing their rights as well as laws in this country.
Exactly, and it's a knife that cuts both ways. On the one hand, you have the police that is under siege. You have the police that is demoralized because of what's happening there. They're underfunded, under-resourced, and also they have been compromised. That's on the one hand, and then the lack of service delivery that goes with it is really not doing themselves and also the country any good. Because if we look at the trust levels of the public, it's just over 20% of the public really trust the police in order to serve them the way they should. So that is something that needs to be addressed, and the only way to address that is to demonstrate competence and to demonstrate action from the police side. But also, we must remember that the police cannot do it alone. Those criminals are amongst the citizens. They are working with them, they are living amongst them, and if they do not take hands with the police, we're not going to win this battle. But on the other hand also, it takes leadership now. It requires leadership for all the way from the top and to station level, where your station commanders have to start to take responsibility. They need to turn the ship around on their station level, because that is where the rubber hits the road.
Willem, armed robberies, home invasions and general gun-related violence, even hijackings, is currently on the rise. What should this tell us as citizens about our current gun laws? If anyone can have access to a gun illegally, this is quite a serious problem.
It's a serious problem, and if you look at your conviction rate or your detection rate for robberies, we see that from the robberies being perpetrated up till this person has been convicted and sentenced to prison, only 9% of all robberies are solved like that. So that means that more than 90% of your robbers walk free after an attack. And that is something that we cannot sustain. And yes, I think one of the big challenges is, of course, our almost unrestricted access to firearms. We see that the majority of the firearms, it seems, are illegal firearms. But also, maybe we need a more holistic approach and a more holistic strategy there. We are focusing on your private owners. A lot of firearms are coming from there through negligence, also through robberies. But also, the state provide a lot of firearms. We see that over a period of five years, more than 20,000 police firearms were either lost or stolen. And the same goes for your military, but also our porous borders. How many of those firearms are smuggled across the borders? We just simply don't know. And that is something that we need to address as a matter of great urgency.
Very concerning indeed. Willem, as always, very eye-opening discussion. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Willem Els is a crime expert. They're weighing in on the deadly crime right across parts of this country.